Most of the time, most ultra runners, it's really a game of who can keep the most food down.
Fettuccine Alfredo. Time to carbo load.
Most people end up losing a race because of their gut, their stomach.
While I eventually puked my guts out, I never puked my heart out.
People will start just letting it all out both ways.
Listen, you're about to be inspired, okay? You're probably watching this in bed or on the toilet or something where you're not doing what you could be doing. So
You got
get
the
ready.
different kind of runs.
Get ready. Well, that'll stay in.
That'll
stay in.
Yeah.
Keep that in there. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So let's talk to first Whitney Roland, the development director
of Midland Children's Rehabilitation Center.
Thank you for saying that.
MCRC. We'll stick with MCRC.
Very hard for me to keep that going without messing up all the words. And Abe Bejil, rapper name, who is basically a crazy person in the flesh. Way. Yes, in a great way, actually. Abe is about to embark on the Moab 240, which, for those of you who don't know, is a 240-mile race in Moab, Utah, over 3 to 5 days, somewhere in there. I'm going to have Abe tell you more. But first of all, thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Did you run here today?
I asked the same thing downstairs.
Yeah, you could have called for a ride, dude.
Everybody actually asks me that question every time.
What's the Moab 240?
It's an endurance run in Moab, Utah that's put on every year. There's a lottery to get in, so there's a lottery to actually want to suffer. And they only accept 240 runners per year.
Wow.
I happen to be one of those 240 that got selected. And I'll be running 240 miles throughout the desert, day in and day out, for up to 5 days. It's 4 days and 20 hours total is what you're allotted. And they can cut you off and kick you out. And unfortunately, all that time you did could go to nothing, unfortunately. So it will be, like I said, day in, day out type of ordeal. So I will be sleeping here and there periodically, maybe 2 hours here, taking some dirt naps is what we call them.
I would literally be taking a dirt nap.
Yeah.
If I had to do this.
Because you're dead.
But you're also, this is not just because, you're just bored, right? You're doing this for a very good reason. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, absolutely. So as an ultra runner, I've always felt somewhat selfish in the ways because running can be, long distance running can be very time consuming. Mm-hmm. And so when I started running ultras, I started doing things for myself initially and was trying to gain, just some insights to my life and seeing where I could push my boundaries and my limits. And my first 100-miler that I did in Leadville, Colorado, which was called the Leadville 100, I decided to raise money for a local cause because I said, while I'm running, why can't this be done for something greater than just my own, my own gains? And so I partnered with Carl Borowski from Rope Youth. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And we were able to raise money for that organization for that race. And ever since then, every long run that I do, I want it to be for a greater cause than just myself. And so that's what this run is for. This will be my longest run to date. And this time it will be for Midland Children's Rehabilitation Center, MCRC.
Yeah, tell us about the MCRC.
Yeah, so MCRC has been around for close to 75 years. Wow. And there's a handful of pediatric therapy centers in the West Texas region, in Odessa and Amarillo. There's a handful of things that make MCRC unique, one of those being that we don't accept any form of payment. We don't file insurance. We don't have a sliding fee scale. Patients show up, they get their therapy, and they never have to worry about it being a financial burden. So that's a really cool thing. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapies, and we also have a state-of-the-art aquatic therapy center, the F. Murray Hall Aquatic Therapy Center that just opened about a week ago. Wow. We had to rebuild that after a major crack in 2020 kind of totaled the pool. And
that's not cheap to fix.
No, it is not cheap. And so they basically said, this is irreparable. We can't do anything with it. You're just going to have to shut it down. So
the pool got COVID?
The pool got COVID. It did. It did. It was unfortunate.
It didn't have the vaccine.
It did. We won't go there. But anyway, yeah, we had to shut the pool down, which was super unfortunate because every discipline of therapy utilizes the pool in their therapy sessions. And a lot of times, you throw a kid in a pool and they're willing to do things that they wouldn't necessarily do in the classroom. And so specifically with physical therapy patients, a lot of times the weightlessness that they feel in the pool allows them to do different movements or more movement than they normally would. And so getting that back has been just phenomenal. In the meantime, they were able to utilize the COM temporarily, but the travel time back and forth to that area. Fortunately, the center is just south of COM, and so therapists were able to get back and forth real easily.
Yeah.
And then we also offer hippotherapy, which is, do either of you know what that is?
No.
It sounds like it'd be at the San Diego Zoo, but I'm probably wrong.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. And I mean, that's one of the unique things about it. We offer it in-house at our center on Ventura. It's therapy on horseback. And
cool.
It's where the therapist utilizes the horse as a tool to assist in their therapy disciplines. And so, again, you can do speech, occupational or physical therapy on this horse. And just like the pool, you put a kid on the horse and they're just a lot more willing to do.
It's more like playtime than
It is.
work.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a horse in the pool? I'm confused.
Yes, we
so
walk the
confused.
horse through the pool, up the stairs, through the center. No, I'm
Off the
just
diving
kidding.
board.
No, the hippotherapy is its own program in the backyard. We have a huge backyard with a state-of-the-art arena in the back where they do the hippotherapy. We have air conditioner, they have a big-ass fan out there, and then they've got the heaters in the corner. And so this is a year-round program that we're able to offer despite weather conditions.
West Texas style.
I mean, it's hit or miss. You
Put
just
a
never
big ass
know.
fan out there. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're
Did
good.
everything.
Yeah, with misters and that.
Yeah.
So.
If
So
there's
how
a
did
good
you two
breeze.
get connected?
So I reached out to MCRC. I've always just had an affinity to helping children and those that just can't help themselves, and children with needs was on my radar, and so I reached out to Crystal Kidd from MCRC and asked if I could just sit down and talk to her and tell her what this crazy run was about, and how that I could partner with them to help raise money and awareness for them through this run. So we sat down, talked about it, and she thought it was, again, crazy and exciting. And she said, but wait, I've got some new folks coming that I want you to talk to. And one of them was Whitney, and also their social media director. And so we've been working together since then on this collaboration. So.
That's awesome. And so you're basically raising money. There's a website. We are accepting donations for this, right? We'll link it all below in the description. So definitely, Abe's running for the kids, so definitely break open those wallets and donate. But let's talk. Okay, listen. So you're used to doing 100-mile races, right? This is that's just normal for you now.
It's unfortunately can be, yeah. So so for me, for training purposes, I do quite a bit of long runs. So like this morning, I did a marathon for training.
I saw your Instagram the other day. I was posted the other day or something like that, and you were running trails and stuff like that. So, because again, you're running through. This is in Moab, Utah. Mm-hmm. This is not on a road. This is just basically through the desert and there's elevation through the mountains and things like that, right? And so I saw you running. I was tired just looking at your running, but I read below.
It look effortless,
I read below, and you were like, "Yeah, just a marathon." And I'm like, maybe I don't know.
I gotta take that word out, just.
Yeah.
My wife.
Does that just mean anything, or like you just 26 miles,
26.2.
26.2 miles is a marathon. That's training for you.
That's training, right? Next week will be my peak week of training. So anytime you're doing a long training block for a race, you have where you're just increasing your volume until you get to this point where you're about 3 weeks prior to race day. So that's going to be your peak volume. So I'll be hitting 15 miles a day, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday will be another marathon that I'll be running. So that'll be 101-ish miles for the week. That, again, you need that volume. You need to get used to that the tired legs and just pushing through that pain. So it's gotten comfortable, though.
Okay.
It's gotten comfortable.
Yeah.
Why
I mean,
wouldn't
at least it's beautiful up there.
It will be beautiful. I've run a lot of races in the mountains, and I really do love just, a lot of times I don't really wear headphones too much when I'm running in the mountains. I just love to, talk to the people I'm running and just seeing all the, what God has to offer. So it's just awesome.
I hear that a lot of runners, especially like marathon and beyond, like prefer not to listen to music while they're running. Like,
yeah, I mean, if it's all my trail runs, unless it's the, Best of Midland podcast, I'll listen to that. But, but otherwise, I'll listen to some, but not much.
Yeah.
I did a whole 100-mile race with nothing, just nature and folks, just talking to people.
How long did that take?
The first one, my first 100-miler in Leadville, Colorado, was 29 hours. And then I went and did another 100-miler, Rocky Raccoon in East Texas. That one was 21 hours and some change, I think.
that's
No elevation.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so no mountain, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then I did one in Georgia that had about 30,000 feet of climbing, which is like
And
climbing
humidity.
Mount Everest and the humidity.
Yeah.
And that one took me 34 hours.
Wow.
So, I watched a video with last year's winner, Jeff Browning,
Yeah.
who apparently was his first time running the race, and he beat the record.
Right. Courtney DeWalter's record at that, which is she's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen a podcast with Rich Roll's podcast with her. Just a different type of person for sure.
Right.
But I mean, it looked like you have to have a whole team of people. Like what's your team consist of, and what are they doing?
So I will have a crew, and that crew, I've got Robert Gomez from MCRC from MRC from Midland Run.
Maybe
crew.
next year.
Yeah, from Midland Run crew. He will be there. Got some other folks here that live here locally, and then some that live in other states. So they'll all come and fly in to join me. And what they're doing though is long runs. They're ensuring that when I get to an aid station, that they have what. Maybe I need to change my shoes, my socks. Maybe I need some different food. Yeah. They'll be cooking food for me because you can only eat gels like on a marathon type of race where you're after that, 26-mile distance, your stomach gets sick of that kind of quick gel stuff. So you need real food. I mean, I've eaten cheeseburgers. I've eaten pizza. I eat quesadillas.
Okay.
You name it, I'll be eating it because you're burning calories nonstop when you're running. So they're there to help make the food, change your clothes. Pretty intimate things that have to go on sometimes in the runs.
That's fair, yeah.
It's you need a lot of lubrication when you're running for these distances. I'll tell you that. So,
how do you get to, like, speaking of the food? I'm just curious, like, how do you train for that? Like, how do you know what you should eat at a certain point versus what you maybe shouldn't eat?
So I'm a coach, an ultra running coach along as well. And one of the things I have to tell my athletes is train their guts. So you train, you eat what you want to eat at a race. And so that way your gut gets used to it. Because sometimes if you eat something and your gut's not used to it, you will start to spaz out. And most of the time, most ultra runners, it's really a game of who can keep the most food down the longest. Because people will start just letting it all out both ways. Most people... end up losing a race because of their gut, their stomach.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They can only take in so much calories, and they're taking the wrong calories.
The old Michael Scott fettuccine Alfredo.
Yeah.
While I eventually puked my guts out, I never puked my heart out.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of Courtney DeWalter. It said that she slept 1 minute in 3 days. Like, how?
Yeah.
Is that even a thing you can do?
Yeah, a lot of racers will do that. So my plan will be, I'm hoping to finish in 92 hours.
Okay.
And this is something new to me. It's 200 miles. I don't really, 240. I don't know how I'll react. So the longest I've run straight is 34 hours, no sleep, and felt fine. But my goal is to run 40 hours the first day, or a day and a half-ish, and sleep about 2 hours, and then another 24 hours, sleep another 2 hours, and then run and finish the race after that. So my goal is to maybe sleep 4 to 5 hours max during the 92-hour period. So now it's
like, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be different. A lot of people hallucinate. These types of races though, they're highly tracked, so they'll have a live Garmin tracker that they make you carry. They monitor you because I don't know, like. If you listen to David Goggins' last book, he talks about Moab 240. he was following his pacer, which your pacer, that's another reason for your crew. You also have pacers. And your pacers are there to make sure that as you start to get tired and fatigued, that you're remembering to eat, that you're following the right trail path.
Got it.
His pacer got him lost.
Oh, yeah, I was hearing that.
Got him lost and like 40 miles off track.
Okay, so he's lost in the middle of nowhere, essentially, in Utah.
Right. And
so a pacer isn't necessarily another person. It's not like they're with you the whole time, or
so I'll start getting a pacer around mile 107ish. So then I'll start having a pacer about every 20 miles. I'll swap out pacers.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll run with me for about 20 miles from aid station. And each aid station is about 15 to 20 miles apart. So they'll run with me from aids to aid, and then I'll swap with the different pacer so that they can rest. And then the new pacer will take me. So I'm trying to keep my pacers fresh.
That makes sense. Yeah. Don't want to get lost out there.
No.
Because you're also running. I mean, obviously you're running through the night.
Mm-hmm.
It's pitch dark. I mean, is there certain gear that you like have to have on you?
Yeah, there is a mandatory gear checklist that you got to have. So running in the desert, you're going to have extreme heats and extreme lows. So they will make you carry a hat for daytime, just keeping the sun out. They also will make you carry pants that are insulated for the nighttime, as well as like a puffer type of jacket, because it can get down. They said is down low is 7 degrees, but roughly it'll stay around 20ish or so. Okay. But the daytimes can get up to around 80. So, those extreme temperature swings, you got to have gear for all of that, and being able to just change on the fly. So the nighttime runs, you can kind of run a little bit faster because you don't have that heat bearing down on you, but you also got to kind of combat the coldness.
And all your extra clothing.
So you have a lot of clothing. You have
how much weight?
About 20 pounds of
20
weight,
pounds, okay.
at least, because you also will have to carry enough fluid for 20 miles from aid to aid.
Yeah.
And so that could be up to 6 liters of water, which is
not
that's
light.
considerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to do this race one day?
I wouldn't.
So I'm making
I
it
couldn't
sound,
do 240 yards, I don't think, before passing out. I mean, were you always a runner? Did you run track in high school or something?
No, not really. So the most I ran was in junior high, was 400 meters. So one lap around the track. And that was a lot.
That's a lot.
That is
That was a lot. And running has always been, it's typically used for punishment, right? And most people don't like it, and I get why. Initially, I didn't. So I started running in 2018. 2018, I had issues. Well, for many years, I had issues with alcohol. Just drinking, binge drinking, and not really knowing when to stop. Mm-hmm. So I hit a pretty low point with alcohol. And in 2018, I decided that's it. I'm not going to be, I got to make some changes. And so I joined a men's ministry group, and Robert Gomez again happened to be there. And so going to this men's ministry a couple of times, and then he comes out and says, "Hey guys, let's do this 5K challenge." Rob, he's got to be always running something. So he's like, "Let's do this 5K challenge, and y'all can." We can text each other and kind of keep each other accountable, and run a mile or so and just let us know. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that, and finished my first 5K. And I'm like, "Hey Rob, I think I want to do a 50K." So let me explain that part too. Is I'm a very maybe obsessive compulsive, maybe the right word, maybe passionate. I don't know. I like passionate probably
Sounds
better.
the same to me, but
right?
For sure.
Driven, and that was kind of the reason alcohol was such a bad thing, because it was whatever I did it 100% and then some. Yeah. And whether it was right or wrong, it was I go all in, and I went all in with the running. I went and did the 5K, and I started to like it, and I said, what else can I do? So I went all in with the running, which was great. I kind of changed from one addiction to another in a sense.
Mm-hmm. But at least this one's healthier.
At least this one's healthier, yeah, for sure. Keeps me out of trouble. Physically, yeah. So I jumped all in, and then so 2018 I did my first 5K, 10K at Stonegate, the Run for the Reason. Mm-hmm. And then in March 2019 I did my first 50K.
Okay.
And then from there,
10x
it just kept on, it was a trickle effect from there, just domino effect. I just kept on going and going. And so 2019 just did some more runs, and And then 2020 was COVID, did some more virtual type of runs there. And then 2021, I did my first 100 miler.
Or just like the standard type of marathon is just like not cutting it? I mean, what does it come down to?
Yeah, it comes down to I just didn't feel like I pushed myself enough.
Okay.
And my wife asked me the same question. When's enough enough? Every time I finish something, I feel like I could have done more. Except for when I did my first 100, I even said at that day when I finished, I said, I don't ever want to do this again. I was in such pain.
Yeah.
It was a hard run. And I said, I'm done. And a week later, I'm like, I want to do another one. So it just comes down to every time I finish now, I feel like there's still more left in the tank. I got more left. Maybe this 240 is the last I've got. Maybe this is not as far as the last run I'll do, but maybe this is my limit.
Is there another one that's more?
There's a 300 mile, yeah. Yeah.
Where's that one at?
I think that one's in Oregon, maybe.
Okay.
It's there's only like one or two that are 300 mile.
Oregon would be beautiful too.
Yeah, Oregon is beautiful.
Yeah.
So technically, is an ultra marathon 100 miles or more? Is that what it is?
No, an ultra marathon is 31 miles or higher.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So just a step up. The step up for the average marathon, where you see the people stickers on the back of their cars.
Right.
26.2.
So you'll see a 50K, which is the 31 miles. So.
That's a 50K. Okay.
Yeah. So 50K it starts.
I can't do those calculations in my brain, dude. Miles to kilometers. Okay.
Yeah, it's 50K, and then it goes to like 50 mile, and then 100K, which is 62 miles, and then 100 mile. And then you've got several distances that in between 100 and 200.
I also read that there's no prize money. Is that
There's
correct?
no prize money, no.
Okay, so 240 racers.
You get a belt buckle.
You get a belt buckle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
belt
I ran
buckle.
the Nike Women's Marathon simply because they gave you Tiffany jewelry at the end.
Really?
Yeah. It
You
was
could sell
delivered
that.
to you by like a hot firefighter without a shirt on. It was fantastic. But I also haven't run since then.
So
Way before I knew
I mean,
you.
so this is truly for the love of the game type of thing scenario, right? Because you can get lost. You could get, I don't know, maybe a rattlesnake could jump out in the middle of the night at you, right? Sleeping on the ground for a couple minutes at a time, maybe.
Yeah. Get a scorpion bite, something.
I'm out.
What are some of the common injuries that an ultra runner experiences?
Typically it's during training. So tendonitis is one, which is basically just overuse of a muscle. That happens a lot. So Achilles injuries, calf injuries, IT bands, this band that runs alongside here that gets tight and wound up. Hip issues, just because you're constantly moving forward. You're not really moving your hips too much laterally or backwards. So those are your typical injuries, as well as plantar fasciitis, which is, again, another overuse type of injury. I've been really fortunate, though, because what I felt or have seen that has kind of helped me is strength training. So I strength train to combat the overuse. So having stronger muscles has really helped me. It's been a game changer for me. That's one thing that I absolutely will have my athletes do is strength training. And the injuries have gone down substantially.
Is there a certain body type that's just better suited for these races?
You'll see most ultra runners that are elite runners, like professional runners, they're typically a little slimmer. But when you go to any, like my races that are just I'm not a professional. I'm just, I do it for the love of the run of the game. All body types. And that's what I love about trail running too. Anyone can go, and they don't feel so anytime you go to a marathon, you've got all your elites up front, and they're, like you're saying, they're slim, really fit. You feel like I don't belong here. But in the trail community, it's anyone belongs, and that's what I love about that.
Okay, so last year's winner, Jeff Browning, I saw it. I think he completed in under 58 hours?
67, or no, you're right, 58, because it was 62 was Courtney's. Yeah, 58 hours.
58 hours.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is incredible.
Insane.
And so, I don't know what the next person finished at, right? But I know according to the Walter one, the next person was like 20 hours later.
Yeah, that's, the elites are elite for a reason. They're genetically different than a lot of us. Like according to Walter, she was a teacher before. And she just said, I want to go try that trail running stuff. And she was just really good at it, and she started to train and she just started to take over. And it's so impressive how she's just done that so quickly.
Just a genetic sort of, didn't even know.
A lot of people don't know, until they go and do it. And that's what's inspiring for me and for others is like, I didn't know that I could go and run these distances. A lot of people think that I'm fast and that I'm stronger or crazier, but I think a lot of people can do the same things if they just go out and do these hard things.
Just try it.
Try it. Yeah. I mean, I went and tried it and it was hard. Yes, it sucked for the first 2-3 miles. And then after that, things got a little bit easier. And
just kind of zone out a little bit?
Yeah, I do zone out a lot. I have a lot of time to think, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are capable of way more than they think so, that they think of themselves.
Yeah.
What holds them back? Just fear of the unknown, or?
I think so. And also just the pain initially. Maybe pain is the wrong word, but just discomfort. Because when you first start to run, you're breathing hard, and I'll get that a lot. I can't even run because I'm breathing so hard, and I have to stop. Walk, run. You got to start somewhere. So walk, run, and eventually you'll start to do just running, and then eventually you might start doing 200 miles.
Yeah, that's a natural progression.
It's a natural progression of things, but I really want people to just, go out and do something hard.
Yeah.
Whatever their hard may be, it could be 1 mile. Just go out and do that 1 mile.
My brain goes into the video side. Are you wearing any GoPros or something? Like, is this being recorded? Can you put this on YouTube?
So, so I've been sponsored a lot by Midland Athletic Company. Okay. And definitely want to thank them for all of that. So they will be providing me a camera and some gear that Robert and others will be carrying for me and recording a lot of it, and also doing some live shots throughout the run, so that they'll be posting on both Midland Athletic Company and MRC's socials. So you'll see some links of that when I'm out there, and then also a live link of track. You can track me through the actual Destination Trail Races is the website. So they'll have a live link that anybody can track runners.
Oh, cool.
And you can see them live.
I really enjoyed tracking Rob whenever you were like doing all the updates and posts for him, but I got on there and I didn't know what any of the things meant. I'm like, is he here? Is he here?
So, yeah.
But it was still neat to be able to kind of watch it.
So that was my Garmin tracker that I put on him, my own personal. This race will actually have their own. It's a little bit better that they actually will show it graphically a lot easier to read.
Yeah.
But so they will have it to where you can track all the runners there and see kind of where I'm at and what place I'm at.
Nice.
And then, of course, we'll have the video. So we hope to do a YouTube video afterwards. We did one, MAC, Midland Athletic Company, did one for my Leadville run, and it came out really good. So we hope to do another one.
Very cool. Let's see some drone. I mean, I'd happily be one of your pacers if I could be on like an ATV or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or
we'll get you a Segway that can go over the trails. Yeah.
Or maybe I can
you can do it.
Maybe I can just fly a drone from.
You could be my cameraman. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
there are a lot of runners, that are that have a lot of media with them. Nick Bear was one that did Leadville, and he had his whole media crew out there.
Okay.
So now,
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you and Robert need to. I really wish I could remember the name of that show that we watched.
The adventure racing?
Yeah.
Have you seen that stuff? Like where
I think
two teams of people and they're just like in Indonesia or something.
Yeah,
and they're just doing all these
crazy
week-long stuff. Would you ever?
I would love to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think y'all would make for great TV on a show like that.
Yeah, because it's almost.
And I only say the show so we can all watch. You can do one that's not on TV too.
No, I would absolutely love to do that. I go towards something like, if it's 110 degrees, I'm gonna go run out there. If it's hard, I want to go do it. Why? I don't know. My brain's just wired that way.
I'm like, it's 110 degrees. I'm going to sit inside.
My wife would be like, can't you just sit down? Like, no, there's something really hard, and I want to go do it.
Yeah, there's the world needs to be ran, traveled out there.
That's
Even
right.
the Amazing Race, I think you guys it would be hilarious because it's like half reality show, half obviously, and he would just crush everybody there. I mean, it's just like two siblings. I've never done anything, and then husband and wife couple, and then two ultra marathon racers. I mean, wouldn't even be fair, really.
Yeah.
And there's prize money, by the way.
Oh, that's even better.
So
ultra running is slowly getting the prize, the purses.
Yeah.
It's really picking up a lot of momentum. So Ironman bought out a corporation called UTMB, which does a lot of trail running, and so now they're starting to have some prize money.
Okay.
But for the longest time, trail runners were considered like your laid back hippie runners, and then you had your marathon runners that were the serious ones that they would get all the prize money. So now it's slowly starting to to see that there's a lot of great athletes on the trail side.
You guys were the snowboarders of the running
Right,
world?
exactly, exactly.
I got you.
We were the skateboarders,
Yeah. Hanging out
with
BC.
our vans. Yeah.
All right. I can see that. What about the Olympics? Anything that could be in the Olympics at some point?
For me, oh no, I'm not. I'm nowhere near that level of talent.
I mean, would they have a 240-mile race in the Olympics? Could they do that?
They're slowly getting a lot more.
Are they?
They got speed walking, so I don't know why they wouldn't do.
Are you serious?
They do. They do.
Do they have poles?
No. You should see the speed walking.
You just
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Their feet are just like.
They have some really good flexible hips.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they are just
Lots
It's
of
like-
twisting.
yeah. It's like
1980s mall walking,
exactly.
elevated.
And
Yeah,
we've
with the
turned
ankle
this
weights.
into an
Yes.
Olympic
If you see
sport.
the little bitty weights that the
Yeah.
ladies would carry, that's
Oh,
what they
yeah.
look like. Yeah, they're getting it.
Well, I need to look this up.
Surprisingly, they'll get like to 8-minute paces, 8-minute per mile paces.
Really?
Speed walking.
How do they discern whether they're running?
They can't have 2 feet up in the air at any given time.
They're
got-
it's like their feet
It's a
barely.
heel toe. Yeah, it's a really.
Very
But
fluid.
Sounds
like
very graceful.
Yeah.
in the pool
Yeah.
almost.
But no Olympics for me. I mean, I'm just gonna continue to just do it for fun, for the buckles.
Yeah, the belt buckles.
Like, do you wear the buckles, or are they just displayed?
Everyone always asks, but I don't wear them.
Is
They're
it like
just-
a WWE style? Like
No,
that,
it's an actual Western style belt buckle,
Oh,
like
okay.
perfect for West Texas.
Oh, see, if it was a wrestling belt, that'd be you sling it over your shoulder at the bar, or at a concert or something. They're like, oh, okay.
walking through
we get it.
HEB.
We know it's HEB.
My last race I did, it's fairly large. It's almost like a WWE belt buckle. It's really heavy. I could probably beat somebody with that thing, but that one, I don't wear that one though. I think my pants.
You're
can't
wearing
hold it.
Bear Performance Nutrition. They're a sponsor.
I'm a ambassador for them.
Okay.
Nice.
What's performance about this nutrition? I'm curious.
So they really carry a fairly diverse line of supplements and nutrients that most runners and athletes, endurance athletes in general, are needing. So I use all of their creatine, their proteins, even some of their electrolytes is the one good I love. Midland Athletic Company sells all these too, so
Nice.
he has the entire line of products there. So I get a lot of their supplements, and I've been using it for the last 2 years. So can't say they make me a Superman because you still got to put in the work, but they do help substantially.
What are your thoughts on this element electrolytes? I'm
So
curious.
Element's really good. It has about 1,000 milligrams of sodium per pack, which is about, so for an ultra runner or an endurance athlete, you will use about 800 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour when you're running. So you need about a pack per hour.
I couldn't drink that much.
That's salty.
I mean, I love
Yeah,
that,
it's salty, but
so I'm drinking now.
Element's great. I use the BPN one. I also use Salt Stick as another one, and then Redmond Relight. So Redmond is Redmond Salt. If you've heard of Redmond Salt, they're another good one. So I try to keep in a lot of electrolytes. One thing that most runners fail to do is hydrate properly. They think water is hydrating it, and that's actually you're diluting your blood with more water and diluting the sodium out of it.
Wasn't that Gatorade's whole thing for decades? Is like their electrolytes?
Sodium.
Yeah, but they turn into sugars now.
Okay.
Yeah. That whole
Alright.
drink is turned into nothing but sugars.
Okay.
So you want water with sodium essentially, but not like iodized table salt. You don't
Just
want that.
put some Mortons in there. Just
No.
drop it around in there. All right, Element, and listen, if you want to sponsor this podcast, we're talking about you. So
Yeah.
let's go. Let's make a phone call
Element's
or something.
great. Yeah, love
Okay.
it.
Watermelon.
Send me a pack. Have you tried their chocolate?
I don't hate it.
Have you put it in your coffee?
No.
Try it in your coffee.
Okay. I picked up a sample
gross.
of it.
So you get the
it
caffeine.
looks like you're drinking mud.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah. Put
It was
it
like
in your coffee.
Yoo-hoo looked like.
Yeah.
But
Watery.
water.
Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Put it in your coffee.
Okay. I'll try that. I'm
So
right
you,
now
you
I'm on
get
an
to
orange
hydrate
kick.
and dehydrate at the same time.
Oh. Well, so I did the grapefruit pack. I did a Paloma with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, dehydrate and hydrate all in one.
I don't.
I mean,
was
it
that,
came in the recipe book that came with the box of
Right.
electrolytes. So I was
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't just
I was going to
make
say
it
they're
up.
going to cancel their sponsorship. No.
No.
Let's talk about shoes.
Yeah.
The importance of, I'm sure, but like, I didn't realize there's all different
Oh, man.
types, right? Like even for one race.
Don't look in my closet.
I bet.
Melba Marcos over here. Over there.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of different trail shoes, even some that are more aggressive, some are more for what we call a technical trail. So Fort Davis, if you've been there, and you climb, there's a lot of rocks, right? So that's what we call a technical trail. A trail that doesn't have a lot of the rocks and it's just mostly dirt. That's just like a smooth, buffed out trail is what we would call it. So you don't need as much grip on your shoe.
Okay.
So there's different shoes for those different purposes. Some that are made for more wet tracks, and some that are made for dry. So I have everything under the sun when it comes to shoes, and every brand under the sun. I can't even say the biggest brand that I've actually used though is Solomon.
Solomon.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Solomon's probably my biggest brand. Sorry, Martin at MAC. But Solomon is probably my number one shoe, my go-to shoe that I've been using over the years.
How many
It's-
different pairs of shoes will you take with you?
I think on this one, I'm probably going to carry 10 to 12 different pairs. Some that will have a little bit more cushion, some that will be less cushion, some that will be more firm, some that have different, what they call heel to toe. So different thickness from your heel to your toe. They all have just a different reason. And
Do you know,
purpose.
like, are you given stats or the topography or something of the entire?
Yeah, so you've got the entire GPX map that kind of shows you the elevation and also the topography. It's going to be rocky in a lot of areas, and then it'll be smooth in some areas. So it'll vary throughout the entire 240 miles. But the issue that you'll have the most when you're running for so long is chafing, blistering. So you'll have to constantly be applying some what we call just lube to your feet. We have this thing called salty britches. Is this cream? It's called salty britches because your britches get salty.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess where that goes. All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So so you use a lot of that in all the different areas that you start to chafe. So including your feet, you have to use a lot of that on your feet. So the more that they're lubricated, the less that they actually get dry and rub against the sock.
Are you thinking about anything other than running? Are you like is mountain climbing an option? I mean, is there anything that's piqued your interest?
Not mountain climbing, but I do love going and exploring. So I did do a half Ironman a couple years ago.
Okay.
So literally it's just half of what the full Ironman would be, just so I can get a taste of it. It was not it was enjoyable to a certain degree, but it wasn't my cup of tea, the whole cycling and swimming thing.
I don't think I could do the open swim.
Actually,
like an open
it took
body
me a
water.
while. I got really nervous the first time and almost like hyperventilated in the water. And I had to get on my back and try to calm myself down because you're right. You're looking down, and when you're swimming, you're supposed to just keep your head down. And there's nothing there. You can't see in our lakes that are disgustingly brown. So, but
Like pool, I can do all day long.
yeah, pool's great. But yeah, I was getting nervous.
Oceans,
thinking
lakes.
snakes were going to come bite me.
I'm not doing it.
No, I think what I would still want to do is there's still quite a bit of races out there that are on my bucket list. So Badwater 135, I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
It's in Death Valley, so they run it in the summertime.
What?
It's 100.
Podcast is over, guys. Like, this
Do you know how hot it gets there?
Exactly. That's why I want to do it.
It gets hotter there than in Vegas. It's like, what, 20 degrees hotter?
yeah, 125 is not uncommon for sure, or
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah. They showed it to be 130s. So you run on the highway. I think it's
Radiating heat.
Radiating heat for a good portion of the run. It's 135 miles. But you have to have a resume to get into that race. So they want to see that you've done a lot of difficult races. So I'm trying to build my resume.
Okay.
And once I build it enough that I think I'm qualified, I'll send it in, and that's one of them that I want to do.
135 miles and 135
That's
Yeah,
a sweet,
135 feet. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty nice LinkedIn profile for sure. You put on there. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a lot of runs that are just on my bucket list that I want to continue to do.
What's that race it's just 1 mile continuous loop?
Oh yeah, there's the MidState Mile.
MidState Mile. Okay.
MidState Mile. They started it during COVID. That's another one I want to do. So that one, MidState Mile, what makes that one unique? It's 1 mile, but it's 330 feet of gain.
Okay.
Which you think 330 feet? Okay, I don't. You're just hard to judge that. 330 feet. Every floor here is 10 feet, roughly. So, how many different stories would that be? That's going to be 30 stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a 30-story building that you would be climbing for 1 mile of distance.
And then they just keep doing it.
And you repeat it until the last man is standing, meaning people will start to say, okay, I'm done. 50 miles was enough. 75 miles is enough. 80 miles is enough. I think they got up to 130 miles this past
crazy.
year. And every year it just gets harder and harder because there's always someone that wants to beat the next guy. But they have they started this in COVID. They used to call it a backyard ultra. So they did one, and it was a 4-mile loop in somebody's backyard. And they just had a little 4-mile loop in the neighborhood. All the runners would do it, come back to the start finish. And they had a certain amount of time to finish that 4-mile. MidState Mile, it's 20 minutes to do that 1 mile.
Okay.
So
I could do that.
You think,
Mile
yeah.
mile 1, sure.
And that's what was deceiving is they said, everyone thinks, oh, I can do that. Yeah, 20 minutes, I can walk that. But when they start doing that climbing, they're like,
Yeah.
I got to climb 30 stories and then I can get back. Yeah, that's a lot. So that is one I would like to do.
Yeah, there's a documentary out right now called One More Mile, right?
Chad Wright is in
Chad
it.
Wright, okay.
And
he's like an ex-Navy SEAL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in there, and he won it 2 years in a row when I think it was probably their inception year in 2020, and then 2021 he won it again.
Okay.
But
I mean,
now,
I guess Navy SEAls know, tenacity and
Focus.
and focus and things like that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
wasn't some schlub or something. He was playing
Right.
Call of Duty all day and was like, oh, I'll just...
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
if
just
I
do
got
this.
beat by Chad Wright or David Goggins, I feel good. I'd be like, okay,
feel all right, okay.
I did my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's
MidState Mile. That's what's-
MidState Mile. Yeah,
okay.
it's over in Tennessee somewhere. It's this
That'd
couple.
be interesting just to watch these. And again, no prize money. I want to stress that.
Do
It's
it
not like
for
they're
the
like,
love.
oh, there's $1 million prize at the end. It's not. They're playing They're not on Survivor. They're like,
No,
no,
it's-
just want to see if I can push my body to its
limits.
limits.
And that's where I'm at. I want to see how far. Will I get to the point where I'm crawling to the finish line?
Yeah.
And if I get to that point, then I've met my limit.
Oh, Lord.
Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck for sure. I'd love to be part of this documentary crew or something. Man, this just sounds. I don't want to
have one
run
more
it all.
question.
I don't want to run 20 miles. Man, that sounds. Well, it sounds incredible.
We'll send you some
And
feedback.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
What is your fundraising goal for this race?
$12,240.
Okay.
We're already at
We're about halfway there.
a
little
little
over
over
6,000.
6,000.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's great. And we've got just shy of a month to raise the rest, and I think we can hit that
Oh,
mark
you're gonna
really
crush
quick.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's called Miles for MCRC.
Their link will be in the description below. You can donate as much or as little as you want. Obviously, You know, it's for the kids.
Yep, none of it goes to me for my running. It all goes to the kids, and we're hoping
It's not for more electrolytes.
No.
Or 20 pairs of shoes.
Or gel packs.
Thank you so much for being here, the both of you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yes, thanks.
Man, 240 miles. Fathom that. You can't, right? Of course. So, in lieu of that, let's donate to the cause.
We're here.
Support MCRC, exactly.
And you know what? We'll have an update after the race as well on our YouTube channel. So, thanks again.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see you on the next one.